Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome, my beautiful Scorpios, to a very special reading for you. Um, I really try to listen to my guides, and I can usually feel before you guys even reach out if someone needs like a little bit extra attention from the universe. And it was calling your name, Scorpio. It was calling your name. I'm not going to, well, I was just going to say, I'm just going to let the reading be whatever it wants to be, but I have a feeling we're going to take a deep dive um, and just see where you're heading, see what's coming in. I feel like there's some changes coming your way. Nothing negative. I feel positive, like I feel very positive, but they could be life changing. Like I really feel I needed to do this reading because something, signs or something coming your way that I don't know, I guess I just don't want you to miss it. So, this will be for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. It's always for those intuitively guided. More and more of you are paying attention to your intuition. And I read through my spirit guide, so your intuition is what's going to guide you. I mean, your spirit guides are going to reach you through your intuition. And sometimes you click on a video and you're like, why did I click on this video? And then you listen and you're like, wow, it's exactly what I needed to hear. So, let's see what's going on for you, Scorpio. And again, I feel good things. I feel like there's some signs that are coming your way that may be important not to miss. If you miss them, you'll still be okay. But these signs seem to be of real growth. So we'll see if they're love, money, or everything. We're going to do it like a regular reading. We will give Mother Mary the honor of opening up your reading. We will use the Gilded Tarot to clarify and go deeper, deeper, deeper. We're going to use the Psychic Tarot for the main spread. That's the deck that was really calling to me. And we'll use the major arcanas also. Look at that, the sun. The sun didn't want to come up with the rest, wanted to be seen. That's a beautiful omen right there. That tells you what's ever coming, that I'm feeling these signs or gifts, what's ever coming, it's of the light. And illumination. This might just be the illumination um, that your spirit guides were speaking about. All right, so let's go ahead and bring the lid down. Oh, I was going to say too, you could certainly be in love with the Scorpio, platonically, romantically. Um, you guys know I have a lot of Scorpio love in my life. And I do want to say, you guys crushed it last month in the monthly reading. Um, so thank you, thank you, thank you for that. All right, just going to calm my mind now. Open myself up. And let's begin. All right. So Mother Mary's got a few messages. We have trust. Trust. I know that God, in his infinite wisdom and love, is answering my prayers right now. Right now. Trust. Amen. Inner child. There's nothing more beautiful than a Scorpio in their inner child. That's just how I feel. I feel like you have the most beautiful inner child. But that inner child can get injured very easily also. I nurture the child within me through playfulness and self care. I feel like don't forget to have a little fun. Even if everything's not going perfect, don't forget to have a little, I want to say good, clean fun, but fun. And then we have home. I trust and follow my divine guidance about my home. All right, so you have some prayers about to be answered. You're being asked to trust. And I love that inner child came out after that because, again, how I just love your inner child. Um, it feels like it's going to give you an opportunity to be in that playful energy. So I'll take it. I accept it for you. And let's go ahead and bring in the major arcanas. For those who are new, welcome. But I use these for like bullet points, but they tell their own special little messages too. All right. So I usually shoot for 3 to 4. Very seldom do I turn down a card, unless a ton of them come out. Oh, hangman. Pausing the action. No wonder I'm doing your reading right now. Because something feels like it's changing. The hangman is seeking wisdom, spiritual wisdom, but to use on this spiritual plane or this earthly plane, what's wrong with me? Some of you, I feel like, because the hangman is like loosely bound, the hangman put himself in that state. It just means, and the hangman, I'm saying man or woman, it just may be something, maybe it wasn't its time yet, or maybe it is its time, but it's going to need your action. So we'll see. But I feel like you're going to find the spiritual clarity you need. He is swaying to the right, to the right, to the right. We have the strength card of Leo. Strength card, first of all, it's the number 8. So 8s do speak about a new beginning. It's also the number of infinity. You can see right here, she has the infinity symbol in her goggles. As above, so below. No beginning, no end. This is a sign of courage. I have a feeling a lot of you have been doing, let's just say inner work, because that's what the strength card is. It's inner work. It's getting to know oneself, the good, the bad, the ugly. It's coming to balance within oneself. But, I feel the reward is courage, and you never lose that. So it's like the hangman is seeking courage. It's like we're getting closer and closer, but it feels like the hangman is seeking the courage maybe to, well, make whatever move is next. Hello, star. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. What do you want to manifest today? What do you want to manifest today? Well, know that you have that power. How beautiful the magician just shows up following the star. And when I lay him down, he is looking right over at the star. Like, don't tell yourself you don't have the power to manifest. You do. And it feels like, you know, some of you may have been like really on this inner journey, and you're finding strength and you're finding courage. And that's a great thing. Like, be very proud of yourself, and then that makes the star almost like a good karmic reward. If you remember, like our souls came here to learn, to expand, to evolve. Well, that's what you're doing in this strength card. But how beautiful to have the magician backing up your dreams. Now, you are the magician. Or let me put it a different way, the magician is a reminder to you that you possess all the tools necessary to create these next dreams. to manifest a dream or more. Um, wow. I just feel like that's kind of beautiful. I feel like the pause in action was so that you can go within, figure maybe some things out, but you're coming out of that situation with this true sense of courage. My courageous Scorpio. And then you move into the energy of manifesting dreams and then the power behind it. It's just amazing. By the way, so strength card is the card of Leo. The star is the card of Aquarius. It's funny because my daughter's a Scorpio and she has an Aquarius moon. All right. Let's bring in the hangman. I don't know why, but I feel so excited for your reading. You better be good, spirit guides. Like they've been putting this feeling in me all morning. Even when I was doing the work I have to do before I begin doing readings, all I could do is think about you. So, but they were good thoughts. Like it was a good feeling. Right now, I just got goosebumps also. Okay. It's a great sign that your guides are present. You know, you don't even have to ask them to be present. They know you're going to be here. They probably may be the reason you're here also. All right. We have the Seven of Pentacles, patience and planning. Well, patience is what you've had. That's what the hangman is, right? I'll hang here all day long until I find the answers that I need. But maybe putting a plan in place also. There's got to be a reason. Now, this is the Seven of Pentacles. And although it doesn't really show it in this energy, well, I guess because, you can see the light behind the pillars. But Seven of Pentacles to me is like your tree of life. It's full of your soul seed of intentions. And certain seeds, have their time. And it feels like there is a certain seed that is meant to be because I do feel in the Seven of Pentacles it's meant to be. Now, this could be a seed that you planted certainly in this lifetime, but this is the right time. Or this could be a seed that's predestined. And again, this is just the right time. Seven is also a very spiritual number. So I like that on top of everything else. I feel like the Seven of Pentacles, if we want to accept the goodness that it offers, we also have to understand that even the difficult things, when the Seven of Pentacles shows up, were meant to happen. It probably taught you something well. Like, if nothing else, like you're leaving or you're coming out of a situation with more courage than you had going into it. We have the Two of Swords. Here it's called mental conflict. Usually you'll see two swords in front of the person. It's like they are blocking an opportunity. But it's usually because of some type of fear. The Two Swords is not the worst as it relates to a fear-based card. Um, but there's still something. In the Two Swords, I often feel like there's a blindfold. You can't see it here, but there's a blindfold. And to me, that represents maybe something I didn't want to face, but ultimately I had to face it. It's connecting to the hangman. So I feel like by facing it, and let me just add that, when we wear this blindfold, because again, it may be something, maybe there's something I didn't take care of because I just didn't want to face it. Um, well, in that case, the problem can become bigger. But what I was going to say is usually when we do take that blindfold off, the fear that we thought we would have goes away. So, wow. Okay. Let's take them how they came out. I'm going to take the face up ones first. We have obstacles and challenges. Number 5, a change, but it's got to be a good change. And then we have the 9 of Swords. Okay, so that does take our fear factor up a bit. This is called suffering in silence. But just look at her image, though. She doesn't look like she's suffering in silence. She looks like she's overcoming that. She's like looking out into the world like, I may not be steady, but I'm ready. The 9 of Swords, the meaning of the card is unnecessary worry. And again, I have a feeling it has a little bit to do with the blindfold of the 2 of Swords. And maybe what I need to understand, or why I didn't want to take it off, is because maybe there is a challenge I will have to overcome. But I know that you can. I mean, I know that you can. And then, well, look at this. Hello, beautiful soulmates. But here, it actually says soulmate union. By the way, soulmate union mirroring the 7 of Pentacles. So that is meant to happen. It's not just the soulmates. It literally says a soulmate union. Interesting, the 2 2s on the table so far. One is of love, but really beautiful love. And the other one is of fear. The hangman is trying to figure all this out. There is some type of change, some type of obstacle that I feel like maybe you do or you did have to overcome for a certain dream to then manifest. It's like the soulmates and the 9 of Swords. It's not that it can't work, but is that not just putting obstacles in our way? And it's okay to be a little fearful, as it relates to love, because, I just feel like that's human nature. But I feel like everything is telling you, like, there is nothing to fear here. So these obstacles or challenges, I feel like they're what you're overcoming. This is where you're really gaining true courage and strength from. And then that change. So, allowing yourself to like face whatever it is you need to face and move through it. Because I feel like it's not as bad as you may think it is. So the sooner I face it, be truthful, the sooner changes start to happen. We have another 5. Financial and material changes coming under the 7 of Pentacles. It can feel like a tower. Something may have changed. Like someone could have lost a job. Your finances could be like barely you're hanging in there. And this may be like, I have a feeling for some, it may give you some ideas of ways that you can get through. I feel like if anything has changed within this energy, it definitely feels like it was meant to. I know that doesn't mean that makes it easier. However, if I look at it in that way, maybe it does make it a little easier. The Five of Pentacles is like something happening outside of your control. It's something like you can't or you shouldn't put like a whole lot of time and worry behind it because whatever it is has happened. You know what I mean? It's happened. But that's not the end, right? Maybe the end of one thing, but it feels like it's just the beginning of something so much more special. So we'll see. Let's keep going. Okay, it's like now they want to come out together. All right. We have recognition and reward. First thing I notice is the pentacles connected. This is the Three of Pentacles. This is a great energy because this speaks about your individuality and being proud of who you are, being proud of who you are today. This is someone else or others um, really looking up to you. This is others recognizing you, um, but for who you truly are, like no facade is needed. I feel like there may be some of you who just don't realize how good you can be at something, or if you are doing something, this is a very creative energy. And some of you may just have started something. You know, it reminds me a little bit of my life where it's like, a job ends and it seems like the end of the world, but then your creativity clicks in and you start getting ideas and epiphanies. Um, and who knows, it could produce like a whole different type of life. Again, this is about your individuality and celebrating it because other people either are or will be. Look at that with the marriage card. The marriage card. To me, it's commitment. Now, it's interesting because some of you could be in a marriage right now where, or maybe you were, where things were very difficult. Like there could have been like obstacle after obstacle, challenge after challenge. Interesting because I'm looking at the five and the four, which is a nine, sitting right next to a nine. But what I was going to say, we're in the universal year nine. So these obstacles and challenges that you may find or that you already have, it may be actually moving you into a much better place, much better energy. You know, if nothing else, to a point where you're being recognized. Hmm. Okay. We have movement, choices, and decisions. Our third two, 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 two. And then we have, look at this, the full, a new beginning. So we have two fives, and fives do speak about changes. We have an eight, and that stands for a new beginning. We have the full. The full is a great omen right now because, first of all, the fool is mirroring this Five of Pentacles where something happened. It feels like outside of your control. And listen, maybe it did force a new start, but I feel like you want this. Maybe you don't know it yet. The fool is really free and clear energy. When I think of the fool, I do think of like the inner child, someone who, has definitely had experiences, challenges they're showing, but has overcome them. And what the fold does is extracts the wisdom of those experiences, but not the experience itself. So I've got to learn to let go. I feel like that's what I'm trying to say. Like when I let go of the things that just weren't working anyway, let's say, again, something feels like it happened outside of your control. However, it's also showing that there was obstacles and challenges connected to it. And then look at just the mental conflict and suffering and silence around it. So I feel like any change would be good change at this point. You know, sometimes we're not as proactive in our own lives as we can be. And I love that the fool is mirroring the magician, fool's greatest mentor. The magician says to the fool, you possess everything you need to be truly successful on this next path. You just need to trust. Mother Mary's very first message, trust. And in that, saying that God is answering some prayers right now. Well, under the fold is the soulmates. Whether that be love, it doesn't always have to be love, by the way. It just could be the perfect person that enters your life at the perfect time. Right when you needed, let's say, someone's help. Because that's what a soulmate's about. But, I won't leave love off the table either because it is, again, mirroring that Seven of Pentacles, your tree of life. We have, interesting, the Seven of Cups underneath, which makes perfect sense when the Hangman was the first card, right? Trying to make a decision. In the Seven of Cups, it can feel chaotic. It can be a chaotic time. You are trying to make a decision because choices, movement, decisions, but it's about whether to jump into the Fool's energy. It's almost like, will I allow myself to, have a new beginning? And it doesn't have to mean in every area of your life. But listen, the star is your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. This is about what you want to manifest. Sometimes we're fearful of the things that we actually want to manifest. Like maybe I really wanted this soulmate energy. And then, oh my God, it shows up. Now what? Well, let's see what's underneath that. Look at this. Positive movement forward. Ah, look at that. The magician right underneath that. This is really like the law of attraction, too. And by the way, this person's heading right towards the sun. What's the very first card we saw? The sun. So, it does feel like the sun is coming out to help you make these choices. I feel like, I feel like sometimes we need to take on the perspective, or we don't need to, but it would help us to take on the perspective of, let's just say, in the Five of Pentacles, that it was a job, no matter what it was. Maybe it was love. Whatever it was, it feels like it ran its course. Because I feel like now, especially with the full mirroring it and it coming under the Seven of Pentacles, it feels like you are meant to be in the Fool's energy. That's a compliment, by the way. For those who don't know tarot, they must think like, why does she keep calling me a fool? The fool is the beginning. We're all the fool. And the magician is the foal's first mentor along this road. The high priestess is the second mentor, your intuition, your GPS. That's what you want to trust, not these human fears. The Nine of Swords can certainly be overthinking something. And it does seem like it has to do with like a move, a decision. Exactly what the hangman is seeking, wisdom on this decision. But I feel like somewhere along the road, you're finding that somewhere over the rainbow, you birds sing. Boy, I don't know why I'm singing that. It must be someone's song. Somewhere over the rainbow. Like, like the whole song just came to my mind. All right, let's bring in the go to Trail. Whoa. And let's go ahead and go deeper. Well, look at this. Hello, Star. Over the Seven of Pentacles, patience was the first thing, right? Patience. But sometimes I feel like the patience is like the universe waiting on us. Maybe you really did, you needed to find this courage, because I feel like finding this courage changes everything for you. It literally is like, okay, well, here comes this dream. By the way, right now the stars mirroring spiritual union. We have the King of Cups, your counterpart, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, coming over mental conflict. Now, doesn't have to be a water sign. But let's just say if it's relating to love, then this does feel like your counterpart. Hello, world. Hello, next chapter. By the way, we are moving into the year of the magician in 2026. Right now, we're in the year of the hermit. This is the year of reflection. And I know I say this a lot, but keep in mind that this is the final year of a 9-year cycle. And then it closes and a brand new cycle opens up. And I feel like we have the opportunity to decide. It is our life, by the way, right? It's you writing this book. It's like you working hand in hand with divine to create the life that you truly want for yourself. I feel like the world, it does mean the ending of something, end of a chapter, but that makes sense. But it's the opening of this new chapter. Well, I love the fool being here because that fool is going to take a chance, going to take a risk. He's not thinking, he or she is not thinking about like, everything has gone wrong in my life. No, they're thinking about right now. And how can I bring dreams right now? Well, that's what the magician is for. So I also feel this is very spiritual time. And by the way, I feel like that lasts forever. So these problems, these obstacles, these challenges feel like they have an opportunity to go away. I feel like there just may be something that you need to realize. Like there may be just like one thing where it needs your action or like your permission to allow it to end. Hmm. You know what else is great? You have the world, which definitely a beautiful energy. And the full is right in the portal of the world. We have the full. The world is touching the star, but it's also has the star in the same line as it. So to me, that's good news. All right. There's that Three of Pentacles again. I don't know. It feels like someone's worrying about their own worth. Like, am I worthy? The answer is yes. Okay. I know that already. You know, if there's something new, maybe something creative you want to begin, will anyone take notice of it? The answer is yes. Because this is where other people are taking notice. You know, it is recognition over you, but it's due to your individuality. So it's something that is special to you. You know, even if a million other people do what you do, this is saying that the way you do it is right for you. I do feel like for some of you, there's like something you want to get off the ground, and maybe you just really need to trust in yourself. You know, something may have happened that kind of forced your hand, but in a way, I feel like that was like your spiritual team. And I already know someone can be like, what? My spiritual team made me lose my job? Maybe. You know, I just put out a podcast yesterday that where I just told you like how I became who I am today, how I started to read tarot, you know, through my spirit guides. Um, and I'm telling you this because part of what I was talking about is when I started tarot, I knew nothing. I really knew nothing. I just had it like I had to take a shot in the dark. But many, many, many years later, no, well, I'm not going to say it took many years to pay off. I'm still doing the same thing. It is my life now. So that's why I'm saying that, because I feel like there's specialties that are yours, you know, and like don't let anybody try to tell you that you're not worthy of anything. That's a lower vibrational energy. That's coming from a lack mentality brain, so to speak. All right. Well, look what is reversed. Now, I have to tell you, when I pre-shuffle my cards before I begin any reading, and I always make sure all my cards are in the upright. And I do that on purpose because if it comes on the table reversed, I feel the energy of whether I feel it's that way. But coming out this way in reverse, I'm taking it. Look at this, the 10 of swords in reverse. 10 of swords in the upright. This is you taking dagger after dagger after dagger in your back. These are what these two fives are ending up to be. Daggers. Guess what? They're all falling out. The weight they used to carry? Mm-mm. No more. The anguish? Gone. What's it falling over? Spiritual union. The soulmates. And the full. It's kind of beautiful because that means the fool was actually doing what the fool is meant to do, what the fool is mentored to do. Let the past go, my friend. Just extract the wisdom, realize your growth, what you've learned, maybe what it was trying to teach you. But this is a fantastic omen. You know, every card I take makes me understand more and more why I felt you needed this reading. We have, excuse me, the Four of Pentacles over the Five of Pentacles. We have the Page of Swords over recognition and reward. And then beautiful Temperance over the marriage card. Under the world. This is about divine timing. You know, Temperance's first message is what Mother Mary sent out. Trust. What the Seven of Pentacles is asking for. Patience. What the Hangman is doing. Being patient. Though at the same time, seeking that wisdom. There is something that listen, it feels like it's time to go. It's time to go. You're on to bigger and better things. And that's just the way it is. So, how do I love the divine is not only, always involved in your life, but seems to also be involved, at least with some in your love life, but not just your love life. Like, I want to make that clear. And then I want to go back to the Page of Swords coming over recognition and reward. And I feel like it's a page because for some of you, it's like you're really learning to trust your own voice again. And that's what a page is doing. They're learning, right? They're learning to be the king or the queen. Some of you may have lost a job, turned around, and started a business on your own and maybe from home. And the thing is, I feel like it's probably something you've always wanted to do anyway. But maybe you hadn't. Just, it's almost like it just never seemed like the right time. But then something forces your hand, you know. But then look what opens. No wonder your spiritual team might be forcing your hand. They may be sending signs and maybe you're not picking up on them. That's part of why I feel like I'm doing the reading so that you can pick up on the signs, especially with the Fool here, because the Fool means your attention is needed in the here and now. This is just the beginning of all that may be. It feels like you have an opportunity to really grow your money, and it's really just from being you. Trust in yourself. I feel like that's the one area you might be lacking, like trusting in what you're doing and that you can and probably already good at or great at. Hmm. Like, I feel like don't give yourself any excuses not to move into something new if it's always been something you've wanted to do anyways. We have the star twice. Now, double Aquarius, yes. But the magician again looking over the star. Let's manifest, baby. The star coming over the Seven of Pentacles. You're always meant to have this dream. This wish was always meant to come true. This wish coming true literally allows those swords to drop out of your back. It's like getting rid of mental confusion. It's where you are saying no more. No more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. What you say? Hit the road, Jack. All right, let's keep going. Let's see what Temperance, because Temperance is looking over at you, making a choice, making a movement, making a decision. I feel like you are making that decision because then it moves into the Fool. I feel like it's happening in divine timing. I also love temperance coming into the world that is again connected to your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. So I feel like whatever is manifesting here is manifesting for the rest of your life. We have the high priestess. So interesting because the high priestess is the full second mentor. And again, just like I said, it's listening to your intuition. There are signs being sent. Some of you, you have questions. Should I make this move? Should I take this chance? Your intuition is telling you the truth. You just might not be listening to it. You know what I mean? And I feel like if you're not, it's because it's fear, but it's fear that you can definitely overcome because your spiritual team is like telling you, showing you like your worth, your beauty, your loving heart, and and you deserve these wishes. But now it may take your human action. But I feel like just follow the breadcrumbs. That's what it feels like. Follow the breadcrumbs. We just need you in the state of awareness. And it's like divine is saying, we'll take care of the rest. You just be you. You keep doing your thing, especially as it relates to love. Because when temperance shows up, there's nothing I need to try to push or control. Temperance is like, give it to me. And what I mean by that, if there's something outside of your control, don't try to control it. Hand it over to temperance, hand it over to divine. Let divine take that worry away from you. And trust in the signs that are being sent to you. They're being sent to you so that you can make these decisions and feel good about them. Whether you feel good or you don't feel good about making it, if you make them, I feel like eventually you'll see the benefit of that. But I feel like, you're going to see the benefit before that. All right. We have the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles is that fine art of give and take. Right off the bat, it feels like good karma coming your way. So that tells me that some of you were dealing with a karmic situation, maybe a karmic love. Again, what is karma? Karma is to teach us. We all have karma. And when you think about karma, we have a lot of control over that. We can create bad karma for ourselves, or we can create good karma. It's up to me. How I treat other people. It's like, and sometimes it can be a previous life, something that was left undone, or, excuse my language, but you might have been an asshole in a previous life. And I'm not putting you down because I might have been an asshole in a previous life. So then you have to experience that, the other side of that in this lifetime. But then you understand it, and then you let it go. It's not something you're meant to stay in, and it's not like a punishment, like you're grounded. Like, get in your room, young lady, you're not allowed out. No. This is having those realizations and then allowing yourself to, have some adventures. So the Six of Pentacles, definitely represents you. This is compassion. This is empathy. You're full of it. Sometimes it can be your downfall. It's hard to say that, but what I mean is sometimes we give this energy, this beautiful energy, to the wrong people. That's really what Six of Pentacles talks about, the give and take. between everything in life. And it's about the balance. Sometimes I have to know, am I giving and giving and giving to someone, but they're not giving back? Well, that could be the case because, again, there were 10 swords. They're now dropping out. So, in a way, I feel like it's like you paid back some karma and now you're heading towards good karma. And I'm not saying that for everyone, but I have a feeling for quite a few of you. So, learning that fine art of give and take, coming over the fool's energy, which is beautiful because, don't lose that compassionate side of yourself, but you do want to learn, like not everyone is going to take what I give and use it to benefit their lives. Sometimes they're going to use it to just continue doing not such great things. Well, I don't want to be a part of that. I feel like that's what you're saying. All right, let's go right below it. Man, we there's your inner child. How do I love that Mother Mary's messages are like showing up in your reading? Your inner child connected to the star. It's also connected to financial and material changes. It does have the Four of Pentacles over it. Some of you, it can be literally about your home. Again, Mother Mary's message about the home. Okay, well, let's keep going. Well, hello, Ace of Swords. So, if you had any problem trusting in your voice before, now you're trusting it. This, to me, is truth. But it's truthful communication. I feel like if someone is speaking to you through the Ace of Pentacles, coming over recognition and reward, well, that's what they're giving you. We have passion, baby, passion. Passion rushing in. The Knight of Pentacles. So where I feel like a page is learning, I feel like the knight is actually sent by a king or queen. And sometimes divine. But this is good news because it's mirroring the world. So whatever this is bringing in, it's telling you that, you're definitely going to be passionate about it. It's definitely going to, what's the word I want to say? That's the word. Like, All right. Well, hello, Ace of Pentacles now. So, Ace of Swords, Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles means something is coming into your physical world. Ace of Swords, it's really energy. It can certainly be one's voice. It is one's truth, without doubt. And it is my yes card also, I should say. Now something's coming into it's like, here is payday. Here is the fruit of your labors. Here comes someone. And whatever's coming into your world, it's coming fast and furious. But I mean it in a good way. Then we have the Two of Pentacles. So, that might help you relax a little bit. That means the ball will be put in your court. You don't have to say yes. You can say no. They call this a juggler's card where, like, I have a lot of balls up in the air. Do I really have time for this too? And that may be the case, but I feel like it's more about using a logical mind versus our fear-based mind. And I'm saying that because the Two of Swords is also out. So here I feel like I'm feeling much more balanced, and therefore my choices seem to be easier. But then again, it's still in your court. Oh my God. Hello, Ace of Cups. Hello, love. Well, that makes sense with spiritual union here, right? Wow. I'm going to put it right there, right over your inner child. This Ace of Swords may be communication, passionate, and it may be something that takes place like in a physical location. There's love. There's no doubt about that. I'm not saying this Ace of Pentacles is just love, because your money is also showing like pretty brightly. Like, I definitely feel like your guides want you to know that, you have a lot of creativity, you have a lot of spiritual wisdom. I feel like you're just born with it. Like, you're so intuitive. I'll even say psychic, but it doesn't mean everybody uses that. And you don't have to like use it in a business, but you can use it in your life, right? Your intuition. So here comes this ace, the Ace of Pentacles coming into your physical world. It coming over movement, choices, and decisions. It feels like it gives you the way to make whatever movement you've been thinking about. And again, I can see why I'm doing this reading, because your intuition may not have picked up on these signs. Well, here they are, baby. But you do get to decide. Even if we look at the Two of Pentacles mirroring the reversal of the Ten of Swords, maybe it is me saying I have to say no more, right? And listen, if it has anything to do with love, well, 100%, I know your spirit guides would beg for you to end that. They can't end it for you. You have to do it. That's free will. But sometimes things, they have run their course. Our human nature tries to pull it back in, but our spiritual being knows, okay, that was hard, but my God, did I learn a lot. I wouldn't be who I am right now if I hadn't had those experiences. Let me tell you, if this has anything to do about love, you'll know immediately, because it does feel like you dealt with someone very difficult at one time, but you learn from that. So I feel like you don't have to worry if you trust your intuition. And by the way, if you feel like you got a sign, but you're just not sure, ask your spiritual team to send you another sign. I know for a lot of you, this reading is your sign. So pay attention how we get to where we're going. You know what I mean? Because I feel like each card is like a stepping stone to the next. Look at all these aces on the bottom line. Wow. Ace of Cups, Ace of Swords, Ace of Pentacles. All these aces, and then the world, the next chapter. Well, let's take all these aces into our next chapter. And then divine right underneath that. All about trusting in divine timing. It's like this is when it was meant to open. Plus, divine sometimes, like, would they hold back, let's say, a blessing? They may, if we're in the Ten of Swords, if we're still taking dagger after dagger after dagger, let's say we were living with someone who always was taking my money, 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 well, Temperance may say, well, this time we're holding something back until you come to that realization because something was unbalanced. And then when you come to that realization and maybe make changes, which I feel like you want to anyway, then it's like, and then the floodgates open up with all this beauty. Wow. I mean, the Ace of Cups and the soulmates, I'll take it. The Ace of Pentacles with the Seven of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles twice, I'll take it. It's asking you to celebrate your individuality and not dismiss it. Forget about what other people have told you. Forget about those in lack mentalities who tell you you can't be successful. You know what? Watch me. But really, I don't even want you to watch me. I want you to go. And you'll hear it through the grapevine. This feels like beautiful, beautiful rewards for, well, really, you being you, for you growing, for you understanding that there are chapters that are going to end. And, sometimes we may not want them to end, but they're meant to end. But that's because, think of the death card, which is your major arcana. It's all about transformation, right? One door closes, but then a new door opens. Something that I feel like Scorpio, you got to get comfortable with. Trust your voice. Like some of you, I feel like you're taking this Ace of Swords, you're writing books, you're using your voice, you're creating from it. This is your truth. Ace of Cups sitting right next to that. That tells me this love. Well, it should also be, for number one, communicated. You could be someone who's a little fearful to communicate. It's almost like there's someone who's admiring you from afar. Interesting, I'm picking this up all of a sudden. Like, it feels like someone is admiring you from afar. But when I say from afar, it doesn't have to mean they're across the world. It just means that they may not have told you. Okay. I don't want to overread this because I feel like this was meant to be a special reading for you, but my God, I feel like what I'm going to do is just go right across the middle of this spread, keeping all these aces in mind. We have the marriage card, true commitment with divine over that, the world above that, and then the world coming over a five, a change. And I don't feel like it was easy. I feel like there were things that you were learning. But ultimately you're coming out of this situation with more courage than you've ever have. That means you're being true to you. And those who aren't, well, hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. All right, so we're going to go right down the middle for any messages, for anything that I might be missing. Now is the time to come out. We have the Six of Cups. Interesting. Six of Cups. Some of you could be hearing from someone that you used to know. I don't know why I'm like full of song today. Um, this is about nostalgia. This is about treasured memories. It can speak of someone that you knew from, let's just say, back in the day. I know some of you are going to be like, no way, Jose, but it happens. It happens all the time. It is my life. It's the way it happened in my life. I see it happening when I do personal readings. I see it all the time. So don't dismiss it, super quick. It can talk about a past life, but honestly, I feel like it's this life. Now, I'm not even saying this is love, but this is someone, I feel like. And then we have the Queen of Swords. What I love is we have the Page of Swords, right? And this is really, I'm really learning to use my voice. Now we have the Queen of Swords. She knows how to use her voice. And by the way, I feel like this is you. I know I confuse a lot of people when I say that, but that's just how I read. I feel like you really are all people. And why? Because we carry the energy of, just like I was saying, my daughter also had an Aquarius moon. But I feel like, look at the beautiful white doves around her. So although her sword is raised, it's really touching the light. And then those beautiful white doves represent purity to me and love. Real quick, when I moved in with Sam, there were a pair of doves that he swears, now, he could be lying, but I don't think so. He swears did not show up until I showed up. We call them Sandy and Sam. And they just had babies. But they're around us all the time now. So I don't know why I'm telling you that story. Well, some of your guides may show, check up on you in the form. Interesting because I feel like someone else has a very special connection with a cat. I'm saying a cat, but like I feel like this cat is your family, you know. Like calling it a cat feels offensive. Like it's your baby. Anyway, that's not who you're falling in love with though. All right. Well, first we have the Seven of Pentacles again. Beautiful. Maybe this love was always meant to be. And let's say you were in love. Well, maybe it just wasn't the right time. But now maybe the timing is right. From a page to a queen and then a king of the same suit. And I'm not reading like it has to be Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces. I'm reading this as someone who would be ready for love. Okay, well, let's keep going. Two of Swords. Hello, Ten of Cups. Wow. And then the Hierophant. You're opposite. You know, Tell me when you guys get sick of this, but I love Scorpio and Taurus together. There's not a lot of signs where I'm like, oh, I love this sign together. Though I do think Pisces and Virgo make great sign or a great couple also. But not all of them. You know what I mean? Not because Virgo can be pretty tough. I'm a Virgo. I know. Um, but anyways, look at this, the Ten of Cups. Well, that is the house of love. That is the house of harmony. Interesting where Mother Mary brought out home. Some of you, listen, some of you may be moving, but if you're moving, I feel like it's because you want to be moving. Some of you may be connecting with someone and then coming together. Let's not forget the Ace of Pentacles means what's showing is coming into your physical world. So what were dreams and wishes, feel like now they're manifesting. I feel like that Two of Swords is the reason why I'm doing this reading. The Hierophant really speaks about your faith, your belief. Here's a quick question you can ask yourself. When you were in that Ten of Swords, which looks like love, and you were taken like all these daggers, did something tell you that maybe this just isn't right? Maybe I need to end this. But it may have taken you a while. Because I feel like your soul knew that. But it's the human part of us that has to finish that, completion. Excuse me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. We had someone come and knock at our door. Anybody know what that's from? Come and knock at my door. Anyways, Scorpio, what a reading. What a reading. What a reading. Um, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bring out they're called clarifying love situations. But they're not just about love. That's why I'm really learning to love this deck more and more every time I use it. So, with everything out on the table, you know what this reading feels like to me? I feel like it's like it wants you to see your spiritual growth. It wants you to be proud of who you are today. Doesn't mean your life is perfect, but I feel like what it's saying is you have the strength to overcome probably more than anyone. And, you are very compassionate and very giving. And yes, sometimes we give to the wrong people, but don't put that on you. You know what I mean? Like be proud of who you are. It's someone else who may take advantage of that. But much like the Empress just learned from that, okay, I no longer want to give. I don't want to feed this energy. Like what energy do I want to feed? I want to feed the light. Okay. See what wants to come out. Um, I'm not forgetting about that Six of Cups because again, this could talk about, and we do have spiritual union here. I was going to say it could just be like a good old friend, which that may be the case. Listen, it could be a good old friend that turns into good old love. All right. We have magnetic fate. Attraction sparks pursuit, guiding souls on a journey, oh my God, to their destined union. Magnetic fate, I gotta read it again. Attraction sparks pursuit, guiding souls on their destined union. Literally what this says. Didn't come up just as soulmates. It came up as spiritual union. Wow. I mean, you tell me, do you think this reading was meant to be? Do you feel it like I do? I would love to know, honestly. I feel like for those who reached out for a little extra help, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did because I feel like maybe just hang in there a little bit longer. But also understanding that, maybe certain cycles are just meant now to end. Don't think that's not opening up these beautiful doors for you. We got quite a bit, but let's take them. Emptiness echoes. In absence, feel the lonely spaces, yearning for a comforting presence. Wow, divine is your comforting presence, but I feel like there'll be more. Face haven. Believe in the safety of your return as every journey leads back to comfort. Wow, no wonder I literally felt that was divine. Looming agenda. You have different ideas about love and intimacy. Well, you probably do. And I feel like that's talking to whoever put those swords in your back. You love differently. And don't change that because of them. And then silent remnants. Amidst the uncertainty, love has the power to rebuild trust. Trust. Mother Mary's first message. Wow. I'm thinking, do I even want to bring out the romance angels? Because it just feels so clear. But we will. We will. Let's just see if anything wants to come out. We'll give it a shuffle or two. And if nothing comes out, then we know. But if something does come out, then I would say it was meant to. So let's give it a couple shuffles. Free yourself and the rest will follow. My God, does this make sense? It is time to take back control of your life, my friend. It's time to take back control of your life. Free yourself. It doesn't always have to mean from a person. Just free yourself. Live in the energy of freedom. Someone from your past is returning to your life. Well, hello, Six of Cups. So now I'm really feeling that this can certainly talk about past lives. I mean, they're up in the clouds. All of a sudden, I'm thinking of a song, Hey, you, get off of my cloud. That's not how it goes. But anyways, I won't leave out that this could also talk about past lives. And I do feel like it probably does also include past lives. Let's just say it that way. Freeing yourself. I feel like that's what Temperance is waiting for. That's when this divine timing opens up. But you're having that realization first and foremost. And I feel like that's beautiful in its own because that means that you're just growing more and more spiritually. Scorpio, I'm so glad I did this reading today. I feel like for many of you, your signs are in here. Yes, there does look like great love, but don't forget like the stepping stones to get there. This will happen, I feel naturally, but it's the energy you'll be in, right? Like if you feel free as the Fool is, wow, then you're free to love. You're free to have adventures. You're free to do whatever you want. And then someone from your past is returning to your life. That seems to be the right order. Now, maybe it happens the other way around. Could be. But to me, it doesn't matter. As long as you ultimately do free yourself. Ultimately, take back control of your life and live life according to your terms. This is your book. This is your story. And you get to write it. How do you want it to be? A romance novel full of adventure, twists and turns, that kind of book that you can't put down. If it was all just lovey-dovey, chances are we'd put it down. But there's twists and turns and excitements and hardships and everything that Scorpio went through and everything Scorpio has overcome and everything Scorpio is about to find themselves in. Amen. I thank you guys. I love you. I love when you reach out and let me know that you're just feeling you need a little extra help. But I have to tell you, I feel like there's a lot of Scorpios who have not reached out that will find themselves in this reading, will find this reading come across their feed in some way, your feed, and because chances are you're already here, and I just feel like it's going to make sense, and I'm going to let that be. I'm going to leave it to divine and put it out there in the universe. I love you guys. I thank you. You know, claim this, claim this, claim it. It's your right. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye bye.